defeating monsters, rescuing the needy, and gathering a towering treasure hoard. But it had degenerated quickly into nights sleeping in the rain, cold and frosty mornings, and bland kelp for meals. Who knew Sir Rajah would be so squeamish about killing animals for food? What he'd give for a few mutton chops right now. Maybe they needed to admit they weren't up for it. Not everyone was destined to be a hero. They could pack up and go home. Lord Maharajah would take them back, wouldn't he? Deep down, he'd know his son wasn't cut out for this life. He'd as much as admitted it to Pal the day they'd left. Pal tried to remember what his room back at the manor had looked like. What color had the blankets been on his bed? Red? Brown? Whatever the color, it had been warm and cozy. You're just homesick. You'll get used to it. Used to what? All this running and screaming? Sleeping every night with one eye open? Listening to Rajah and Faith arguing? Was it worth it? But what else are you good for? You're a squire. That was right. His job was to be there for others, to keep Rajah going when things got tough on nights like these. Pal glanced over his shoulder. Rajah gripped Heartbreaker tightly and was turning around in circles, eyes wide with fear and sweat glistening on his forehead. There was definitely something out there. He wished they were more like the Bravos. Now that was a real bunch of heroes. He'd seen them a while back, returning from some quest, laden with gems and treasure, boasting of the mobs they'd defeated. They'd been clad in the best armor, their weapons bright and razor sharp. The whole realm would be singing their saga soon. Rajah had grumbled, promising he'd bring back twice as much treasure on their next quest. And that had led them here, lost in the heart of a gloomy forest infested with skeletons and something else. Pal took a double-handed hold on his axe, and the bow creaked as Faith drew the arrow fletching to her cheek. It was coming closer. What was it? Not a skeleton, that's for sure. He could recognize their rattling plod by now. Not zombies either. That had been an even bigger disaster than the skeletons. They'd been searching an ancient ruin, hoping for some forgotten treasure, but had taken too long. They'd only explored half the site before the sun had set, and the darkness had been filled by an eerie groaning. The zombies had come shambling out of the surrounding ruins, woken by the moonlight. They'd been surrounded, and it would have been the end for all three of them if not for Faith. She'd found an escape route, climbing up and over the ancient ruins, jumping the perilous gaps between buildings while the zombies gathered below. It had been close. "I see it," said Faith. "See what?" he asked. "I don't see..." Faith loosed an arrow into the darkness. There was a fierce, angry hiss, and suddenly a massive green horror charged out of the darkness, hissing loudly as Faith shot a second arrow into it. "A creeper!" yelled Rajah. "Run!" But Faith had her third arrow already knocked. "We can beat it, Rajah! You have to stay and fight!" What should he do? The creature was practically upon them. Faith's arrow flew wide as the creeper leapt over a fallen tree trunk. "Run!" yelled Rajah. "Fight!" cried Faith, drawing her last arrow. Run? Fight? Fight? Run? He didn't know. Why had they ever left the manor? The creeper began hissing. Now that was bad. Really bad. "He's right. Run!" he yelled as he grabbed Faith's arm, fouling her aim and sending her final arrow arching into the night sky. It didn't matter. He'd make her more later. She glared at him, but he was already pulling her away frantically.